What's going on, y'all? Happy Monday, and welcome to the latest edition of the Hashing It Out live stream. I'm your host, Colin Harper, head of content and research at Luxor Technologies. So today we're going to be going over the usual data and metrics from Hashrate Index, looking at hash price, ASIC prices, and a little bit of analysis on the upcoming difficulty adjustment. And then we're going to wrap up the live stream with some news about BlockFi's Chapter 11 bankruptcy that hit last week, probably the biggest news to come out of the last week for this cycle. Canada or Manitoba's most recent moratorium on Bitcoin miners and not allotting them energy. And we'll also wrap up with a little bit looking at HUD 8 having some disputes with one of their power providers, or hosting providers, I should say. So let's get started right now and hop on over to network data. So hash price has been getting some reprieve over the last week thanks to Bitcoin's own price rise. We went from about $55 or $56 per petahash to where we are right now, which is at just under $60 per petahash. We were spent most of the weekend at $60 per petahash. And it's looking like with the upcoming difficulty adjustment, which we estimate will be between 7 and 8% downward, which should hit later today. With that in mind, we should see a boost still, probably taking us, firmly above $60 per petahash per day, and also improving on the Bitcoin denominated hash price. Now, taking a look at the difficulty adjustment, we're 97% through this current epoch. We're on block 1954 out of 2016. And block times have been 10 minutes and 51 seconds on average. Pretty slow, as most of you know. Usually we do not see block times get close to 11 minutes on average versus the 10-minute target average. And obviously, the only thing that could be driving this is the recent dip in hash rate. If we look over the last month, Bitcoin's hash rate has fallen from 266 exahashes a second on the 7-day average. And really, it was like between 266 and 270 and hit an all-time high of 274 on November 12th. And it has fallen to about 252 exahashes a second on most recent data. We got as low last week as 238 exahashes a second on the 7-day. And, case in point, a lot of miners are turning off right now. As we've talked about in shows past, we're starting to see miners higher up the cost ladder. Your 8 cents a kilowatt hour miners are at break even. Anyone above that is underwater. And as a result, we're starting to see a lot of miners turn off as they become unprofitable in the current hash price bear market. Not much else to say about this. We're really happy for the miners that are still plugged in to see this difficulty adjustment coming in. It'll be, like I said, in the realm of 7 to 8%. It'll be a nice little reprieve, but it won't, it won't ameliorate everyone's situation, right? Like mining margins have still been very much obliterated over 2022. We're closing the year at, we'll be closing the year at some of the potentially some of the lowest levels of mining profitability that we have ever seen. Right now, we are in all-time low territory. If we look at this chart, Bitcoin mining hash price hit an all-time low of $55 per petahash on November 9th, following the rout in the light of the FTX news, which no one can seem to shut up about. Biggest story so far this year, and one of the biggest stories ever in Bitcoin's short lifetime. But all that being said, the most recent difficulty adjustment will take us to a higher profitability level, but it will not be enough to kind of salve over all of the troubles that miners have been facing, especially those higher up the cost ladder. And all of that being said, even though hash rate is tapering right now, never say never. We could continue to see it fall throughout the rest of the year. I don't think that that's very likely. I think that we'll still probably end somewhere around 250, 270 exahashes before the end of the year, somewhere in that range. And with hash price and difficulty covered, let's just go ahead and pop on over to ASIC prices. we had Yaron Mellerud on last week to talk about Bitcoin mining stocks, and I don't think that we've actually covered ASIC prices in a while on the live stream. And if you, as you can see from this chart, new gen ASICs have dropped below $20 per terahash for the average listing price across all these different marketplaces, and this has breached new all-time low territory. The mid-gen ASICs, those 38 to 68 joules per terahash, those have been in all-time low territory for a while, and it's just been recently that we've seen new gen ASICs drop to this low point. Now, again, as I always say, that doesn't mean that this can't go lower. As you'll see if you go over to brokerage.luxor.tech, Luxor's ASIC brokerage desk, we are seeing some new gen ASICs being listed for $13 to $15 per terahash. And we actually ran a poll on Hashrate Index that I will direct y'all to presently. We ran a poll last week that basically asked all of our followers where they thought the bottom would be for the ASIC market. And the majority of respondents said somewhere between